Every smooth shot you watch has something working quietly behind the scenes. Stabilization gets the credit most of the time, but focus and zoom control decide whether a shot feels intentional or distracting. We have been using this ZHIYUN TransMount Focus or zoom control, Motor 2.0 for a while, and today we want to talk about how they actually behave. Not what the box promises, but what happens once the camera is built, balanced and rolling. Let's get started. Now, just to clear one thing early, these motors were originally designed with the Crane 3S, 2S and Gimbal ecosystem in mind. However, we needed them for our Crane 4 setup, and compatibility was the first practical question. The good news is that ZHIYUN has kept the system flexible. That flexibility matters a lot when your gear shelf already has multiple gimbals. Before even mounting, let us talk about confusion. This motor can act as either a focus motor or a zoom motor, and that choice is controlled through a physical selector switch on the unit itself. That means one motor, two rolls, which simplifies your kit and reduces setup time. Once the switch is set, the motor responds correctly through the gimbal hand wheel. Now, the setup, and we like ZHIYUN's design approach. It keeps everything clear and built to work with the gimbal rather than against it. The motor attaches using the included mounting bracket and rod, and it integrates cleanly with the gimbal without forcing odd angles. We start by attaching the bracket to the quick release plate area, then slide the rod into position so alignment feels natural. Next, we wrap the included 0.8 mod gear ring around the lens ring. This is especially useful for photo lenses that do not come with built-in gears. Tightening this evenly matters because consistent tension gives smoother motor response. Once the gear ring is set, we slide the motor into place, align the teeth carefully, and tighten it while holding the motor steady. Before powering anything on, we rotate the lens ring by hand, just to confirm smooth movement. After that, we connect the USB cable from the motor to the gimbal. Power comes directly from the gimbal, so there is no separate battery to manage. Once powered on, we use the calibration button to let the motor learn the lens range. This step takes seconds, but it improves accuracy a lot. Then we balance the gimbal as usual. Balance still matters, even with motor assistance. It keeps response smooth and strain low. Now comes the part that actually defines whether this system is worth using. Control. The focus motor responds through the focus wheel on the gimbal, and the zoom motor responds through the rocker. The response feels measured rather than aggressive, and that is exactly what we want. Focus pulls feel deliberate, which helps when you are tracking a subject moving toward camera. Zoom moves feel controlled, which avoids that robotic snap that ruins a cinematic push. In real shoots, this matters more than any talk number. We have used this setup for slow product reveals, walk and talk scenes, and handheld style gimbal moves where focus needs constant adjustment. The motors keep up without hunting or jitter. They also remain quiet, which matters when microphones are close. Another thing we noticed is weight. The focus motor sits around 105 grams. On paper, that sounds small, and in practice, it feels well balanced. It does not throw off the gimbal in a way that forces compromise elsewhere. That balance helps maintain longer shooting sessions without fatigue. Workflow is where this system quietly earns its place. We can move from wide to tight without touching the lens. We can adjust focus while walking a subject through a space. We can repeat moves with consistency, which clients notice even if they cannot explain why a shot feels polished. This system does not rush you, and it does not fight you either. There are also practical details that deserve mention. The status indicators make troubleshooting simple. When the light stays on, the motor is operating normally. That means it is connected, powered by the gimbal, and ready to respond. This is what we want to see before we roll. A single flash means the motor is calibrating. After pressing the calibration button, we just let it finish and avoid touching the lens. Once it completes, the motor settles back into normal operation. After weeks of use, we see these motors as tools that disappear into the process. They do not call attention to themselves, and that is a good thing. They allow you to focus on framing, timing, and story, which is where your energy should go. So where does this system fit best? If you are only shooting static tripod work, you may not need it. However, if you live on a gimbal, and if your work depends on movement that feels intentional, this setup becomes hard to ignore. It does not replace skill, but it supports it. It removes physical limitations, so creative decisions come first. If you are already invested in the ZHIYUN ecosystem, this feels like a natural extension rather than an add-on. And if you have ever missed a shot because your hand left the gimbal to touch the lens, you already understand the value. So from one working shooter to another, this system earns its place through reliability, control, and thoughtful design. Once it becomes part of your workflow, going back feels limiting, and that alone says a lot. That was all. Thanks for watching, share your thoughts in the comments. And, if you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more camera news and reviews.